49% of the people say that they're worried that will be replaced by an AI, that AI will replace their jobs, but 70% would delegate as much as work as possible to an AI to actually reduce this workload, this digital workload that they are having. So I think that's a main point when we talk about a future of work, to understand that the people see an AI as something that will save time, that will be able to work smarter, that will be limiting this information overload, that will solve certain problems that they are facing right now. And I would say that will allow people to be more creative.
Welcome to Comtrade Podcast. Today we are ready to take a deep dive into all things AI, and with none other than Milan Gospić, who is the country manager of Microsoft. Welcome to Comtrade Podcast. We're glad to have you here.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and thanks for Comtrade for organizing such a lovely event.
Great. And now to start off with AI. So what do you think about the role that AI has in shaping today's and transforming today's businesses? We've seen a lot of changes in the IT workforce market, in the way businesses operate. So let's start it off with this. How do you see this change, and how did this come about?
Well, we are entering a new era, and this era is an era of an AI. And for organizations around the world, this is an incredible opportunity to actually enhance their products, services, and unlock the innovation that they have in their organization, and that way bring additional value into their industry. I would say that it's not just an era. This is an inspiring era that will unlock quite a lot of potential for everyone, both businesses and the people utilizing the AI in many different aspects. And I would say that this scale and the pace of technological innovation is unprecedented. We have not been in such an inflection point for a long time when it comes. And this brings a lot of optimism into the currently demanding economy that we have and that we have been seeing for quite a long period. I would say that especially things like cloud and AI, this is something that will be marking our future from now on, and companies will have to prioritize the data-driven businesses, data-driven decision-making, and basically build on their digital and cloud capabilities and competencies. So this will help organizations and the people around the globe to achieve even more.
Yeah, and how do you see this, let's say, like a global change when it comes to the workforce market? Because we have seen a lot of new tools such as, like ChatGPT, obviously, entered the chat, pun intended. So let's see, this will affect, of course, a lot of IT industry experts, the way they work, from like developers, software developers to programmers. So how do you think this will affect them, and what does this mean for them? Which new, let's say, roles will transform, which new will arise? What's your take on this?
That's a very important question, and in Microsoft, whenever we design the new technology and we look at the overall landscape of our partners and our customers, we think about the people first. So we want to put the people first in a perspective. So that means that you design the work for people and not putting people into some kind of rigid processes and the procedures. We call it a human-centric work design. So putting people first means like reimagine how the hybrid work can be done, fueling creativity, offloading people and accelerating productivity. So these are the things that I think are very important. And you can find quite a lot of information about that one in the Work Trend Index that Microsoft is releasing on the yearly basis. And the last one was saying, I'm going to read you a few very important things, is like in this moment, there are three major findings. One is related to the current status of our work, and it says that digital debt is upon us, meaning that we all see a bunch of emails coming every day. You're getting pings from a different type of tools. So a lot of requests are coming to a single person, and this is what we call a digital debt. Actually, what is costing us an innovation. So we see that this is the first point. The second is that we see a new alliance between an AI and the employees. Mm-hmm. So this is the new alliance that is arising. And then that basically every employee in the future will need an AI. These are three major points, and I will just bring a couple of numbers on board to bring
Sure.
this closer. So it says like this: when we were asking like 30,000 people that were involved into this last report that we were doing, 49% of the people say that they're worried that they will be replaced by an AI, that AI will replace their jobs, but 70% would delegate as much as work as possible to an AI to actually reduce this workload, this digital workload that they are having. So I think that's a main point when we talk about a future of work, to understand that the people see an AI as something that will save time, that will be able to work smarter, that will be limiting this information overload, that will solve certain problems that they are facing right now, and I would say that will allow people to be more creative. So that way we can boost an innovation, meaning that you were asking me about different work profiles. If you have just people in the software development and you have a junior developer, today we have tools that can do a coding. But actually what allows you that is to take a junior developer and instead of giving him lines and lines of code, which is more or less a manual thing to do, you will have a machine to do that, and the developer can check and give a bigger meaning to that work, meaning that you are moving people from a manual work and a lot of information in that manual work to more creative work in the future. And with that one, I would say that, embracing an AI will actually help us in this whole digital world.
So you're saying basically that AI won't replace jobs, but it will that people and AI should work alongside, right? So in specifics.
Absolutely,
yes.
yes,
So
yes.
just for the audience wondering, because it's usually always the question that always comes up. It's like, which jobs will AI take on? But also when we, to shed a bit of light on AI, positive light on AI, let's say some new roles will emerge, right, from this transformation. We've seen a lot of new roles such as chief AI officer in the companies arise. So what do you think about these roles? Where do you see these new profiles, let's say, in the companies? What do you envision will arise from this change?
Well, that's a little bit of a futuristic, I would say, question that we already live, because I will give you soon a bit of a history too, but AI is nothing new. I mean, for quite a long time, we have different roles that takes care of data. And we have been talking for quite a long, I would say a decade, about big data, about data-driven culture, and how to explore the data and how to use the data. So from that point of view, we already do have an established, I would say, organizations that are embracing this data type of a culture. And everyone is moving in that direction simply for the resilience of their own organizations. We have seen in the past, I would say, turbulent years that we had in the worldwide economy and with all the things happening around the globe, is that digital has given quite a lot of power to both people, organizations, businesses, employees inside of it, to actually cope with a situation that happens. So from that perspective, I would say yes, for sure, the AI is entering as, I would say, a new type of approach into everyday life. And I think it's going to be more and more. As I said, that's a new inflection point where, the curve is suddenly going up. Especially we are, at least in Microsoft, planning to launch quite a lot of new products in that direction. So we are going to see emerging a lot of new jobs, a lot of new positions, probably roles inside of this one that we cannot even think about right now. And it will be quite an industry dependent. Why? Because, the AI is a technology that you can apply in a different industries.
Yeah.
But you have to know that industry in order to really use an AI and the data inside of that industry. Is it a telecommunication, or it's manufacturing, or it's a healthcare? So there will be different roles in different industry that will help the organization embrace the AI and move forward.
Absolutely. And then when we talk about Microsoft's own AI tools, you have been known for successfully developing and deploying AI and both to business and business to client scale. So what would you, let's say, what would you suggest to companies? What should they focus on? Where should they invest in terms of AI and in terms of development and deployment of AI? Of course, depending on the industry, obviously, but what are some key points they should focus
I
on?
would say like this, in general, when we started this digital journey and all the transformations that are active in the past, I would say decade, one thing comes as a first milestone, and that's competence. So every organization needs to consider learning and knowledge as an investment, not as a cost. So I advise everyone, train your people, make sure that you invest in their competence and understanding of the technology so you can actually deploy that technology. Today, it's not enough that you buy the license or you just take some type of a technology. You need a whole organization to embrace that technology. So this is not a question only about the IT department in your organization, but actually both the HR, the business decision making, the finance, everyone of using that technology. Now, so that's the first part. So learning.
The upskilling, right? The upskilling of employees is the first key point. Okay.
Absolutely. So the second one is you need data. And people think that, they have a data. But actually what we find out very frequently that this is a bunch of unstructured data. So that means that what you need is to have your data model and you have data structured in your organization, understand the business processes, what you want to do with that data. So here, one of the first steps to help you out is the cloud, because cloud can handle quite a lot of data and it's very flexible in that perspective and offer you quite a lot of analytic tools and different tools for data. And I would say then it's up to this organization who has gained the competence, have a data to start innovating on top of the data. And that could be customer experience, personalization of your offers, automation, efficiency, data analytics, supply chain optimization, healthcare, as I already said, finance, cybersecurity, quite a lot of things that are emerging that they can use actually data, and of course then in that process artificial intelligence, depending what kind of output they want to have.
Obviously, then you touched upon the data and cybersecurity, right? Those two come hand in hand because we have seen the rise of a lot of AI and automation tools, right? And they're basically upon everybody to use today. A lot of societies, companies, they use AI in some scale, some form. So how does this come about in terms of data security? So are we there yet? And in terms of can cybersecurity follow these trends of the AI development? How can companies be sure that their data is fully secured?
Even before we have exploded with this AI trend that we have right now, and I will come back again why we have this trend and how it comes that it exploded now. We started talking a lot about the cybersecurity because going digital, that means that you are your company is operating in a completely different way, and the cybersecurity needs to be on everybody's mind. That means from the frontline workers to top management of the company, because the cybersecurity effects are really endangering not only the businesses around the world, but also quite a lot of, I would say, mission critical systems. So the cybersecurity from that point of view is another important point that we are addressing, especially through the tools in a past year. But again, I will go towards the learning. Everybody in organization needs to be aware of the cybersecurity and understand the cybersecurity threats that they have. So these have to go hand in hand. Cybersecurity and the development of data-driven organization, and we are now deploying actually a new generation of the tools that will involve the artificial intelligence into understanding the cyber threats and protecting the customers from the cyber threats.
Okay, and then you said you wanted to let's call it that way, expand this topic of how did this all come about of AI being everywhere. AI is not a new term, but now everybody gets to talk about AI. We see it everywhere. So how come all of a sudden from this trends comes about in companies? We've seen the Open AI. Everybody knows about Open AI. So how did this come along?
Well, it's really beautiful when something like this happens, and then you see something emerging from almost nothing. But actually, there is a lot of work behind this one. And as you said nicely, the AI is not a new thing. I mean, we are working on the data systems, machine learning, and in general, AI type of an algorithms for many years. Microsoft in its portfolio has different AI models for quite some time. But actually what happened here are, I would say, some things that are very important from a point of view also of a Microsoft mission statement. So we are here to empower every person and every organization in the world to achieve more. And what happened with an OpenAI and ChatGPT and also some other tools that then started emerging is the fact that everyone could access them, and everyone could try them, and everyone could play with them, and everyone can start using them
AI.
for different purposes. And suddenly we simply walk the imagination of the people around, saying like, guys, you can use it. So we democratized in that way the AI. We said this is not just for the powerful companies that can invest a lot of money into the things, or I don't know, algorithms behind the social networks and things like that. It's only for the business. No, we let it out to all the people in this world that can then start using the technology, of course, for good and democratizing. So that's the first point. The second point is that we have reached, our cloud systems have reached such a capacity that we could sustain this type of a new technology. So especially I would say the leading companies in a cloud in a cloud technology have started building up their capacity, understanding that the AI systems really require quite a lot of also hardware, because what we see in front of us is usually just the software, but actually behind that one is a very powerful hardware. Microsoft is heavily investing into this one. So when the Microsoft Azure cloud has reached the point, we have been able to release the something for everyone.
Yeah.
And this is the way that we have democratized and offered the AI to the whole globe. And this is why the AI become popular. I think that ChatGPT reached 1 million users in 1 week. So that was something really fantastic. And we want to continue also in that way. So what we are building right now is a lot of tools, and every single product in Microsoft portfolio will basically have an AI capabilities. We're going to call them co-pilots. So co-pilots will be included in most of our products, if not even all. And tomorrow actually you will be more or less speaking with your device. And you can say, okay, but even previously I could speak, there was quite a lot of assistance. That's true. It's showing continuity in what is happening, but it's also showing the power of democratizing this type of technology. So I think it's one fantastic thing that is happening right now with people embracing this technology, even they are not like an IT pro
tech
or
savvy,
whatever.
yes, obviously.
Yes,
And I was
absolutely.
I was just gonna get back to that. Like you have a lot of let's call it that way, OpenAI models that are integrated in business models that the Microsoft stands by. So this is obviously great news for businesses, not just for like the end users. And which leads me back to the question of good partnerships in technology. Comtrade and Microsoft have a long-lasting partnership even before the office was opened in Serbia. We have long-lasting decades of partnerships. So what do you think partnerships bring into the field of this AI and data-driven world? How important are good partnerships?
I think that the partnerships are based for developing this fantastic new, I would say, era of technology that we have in front, because we are to a certain extent a platform company, so we are allowing tools. And sometimes I have in my office a doctor coming in, sometimes I have in my office a person from manufacturing, someone from completely different industries. And myself, I will not be able to answer to all of their needs. So to a certain extent, we need a partnerships that will help transform those businesses using the technology that we offer. And this is where a great partners come into play to basically bridge that between us as a technology drivers and customers as an end users, knowing their business, how they work, what they need, what are the pain points, what they need to resolve, and so on, so on, so on. I'm really proud of the partnership with the Comtrade and the existing 20 plus years of really working together. I feel like this is a momentum that has been built constantly, and I really want to thank Comtrade for being such a loyal and great partner for all of this year. So thank you for this question.
It all comes down to loyalty at the end of the day, integrity and loyalty. And we're glad to have you here as well and to keep this partnership going. And last but not least, to go back to the question of how does AI affect our business organizations in terms of organizing the way we work. With the new trends arising, with new AI and automation tools rising, we've seen a lot of changes. For example, Microsoft Teams has bloomed, during the COVID lockdown phase. And now with the recent global changes, some huge companies, technological companies, are getting their employees back to the office. So what's like Microsoft's opinion on this? What's your stance? Do you have the flexible work hours? How do you organize this type of, let's say, work from home versus work in the office balance?
Well, I was mentioning before in my conversation with you about the people first. So I would again start with the people first. There are some things that have changed and they will never go back. And I think that they should probably not even go back to what it was, because we have already embraced the certain changes so much that it has become a new normal. And this new normal is now an old saying, let's call it this way. So if I think about like new ways of working and again reverting to our work trend index, as you see, I think we need to explore further and reimagine this hybrid work to understand what is best for your organization, what is best for your people. So what type of job you do, and that will depend on how you can actually adjust. So what you want to achieve with this one is to basically fuel creativity and innovation into people. Try to offload them from the manual works and go towards this type of, I would say, inspiring workplace, where people can feel that they can express themselves, that they can bring themselves to the job. So that means that they do not have to be in one type of a suit in the afternoon and other type of a suit in the morning. But there will be always, of course, the people that will go to office, that are executing their jobs in the, let me say, other environment than a digital. And I want to thank them too. For everything. Otherwise, we cannot work. So I would say that the flexibility is the main point here. And we need to understand and put the people first, understand how best the technology can support them into delivering what they have to deliver.
So we're saying let's leave creativity and innovation to people and manual jobs to technologies, right? Let's call it.
This is what I would appreciate, even though I use sometimes even technology for being inspired. So
that was my next question. How do you envision the next steps moving forward? I'm thinking like they're getting smarter. The technology is getting more innovative. We've seen a lot of like voiceovers of AI doing even for the most famous artists. You can put now Freddie Mercury singing like the song of Celine Dion. So they're getting creative. AI is getting creative. What's your closing note on this the AI, and not say versus, but alongside people? Where do you see the development of AI in the next, let's say, 5 to 10 years? Let's call it that way.
For me personally, the whole story is very inspiring itself.
Yes,
it is inspiring itself. Being a tech person all my life, I got a new toy, so it's like fantastic, and I want to explore and see what this toy can do. But I see also people around me exploring this toy and being not even scared to try to do this and try to do that. I will tell you just a brief story. I was not even aware that I was probably part of the first artificial intelligence art exhibition in Belgrade that happened somewhere in December last year. So there was a conference organized, and we were discussing about actually ethical use of the AI, where Microsoft insists a lot about the regulation and how to actually control the whole industry. And I think this is in front of us to learn more and to get engaged all together into making sure that this technology is always used for good and the best way.
Absolutely.
So discussing that on that conference in the evening, we had a party. And the party was actually organized as an artificial intelligence exhibition. So they were using DALL-E and put the descriptions of the pictures they would like to have, and got a lot of pictures out from the DALL-E, which were on the walls in that evening. So at that time, it was looking like, okay, there was a machine doing something, but actually everything was interested. So suddenly you see that that picture has something different than the pictures you've been seeing before. Paintings, let's calling them, but it's actually a picture because it's on the screen. So I want to say that sometimes we are not even aware how beautiful things are around us, how the things that can inspire us and move us forward are already there. But actually, democratizing it and moving it forward, allowing it also for free use of other people, we can empower people to use it for good. So this type of a technology tomorrow will inspire people that are writing songs, that are writing music, that are maybe producing paintings or any kind of
filmography, etc.
This type of I would say works, but in general, this is a technology that we can explore more and that we can use and hopefully inspire others to use in a right way.
Great, thank you for this positive and uplifting note. So I would like to end it right there, so for people to get inspired by just what you just said. And I wanted to thank you once more for your time and for being a Comtrade Podcast guest, and hope to see you next time with new innovations from Microsoft.
Thank you so much.